This is Irontrader, and this is Midday Trading. So I want to take a look at some stocks here. First of all, take a look here at Tesla, Microsoft, Meta, NVDA, Apple, and Google. Big tech day. Okay, this video is for information purposes only, not a recommendation to buy selling stock market ETF. Please like, subscribe. Thanks for watching. All right, here we have Tesla, one of my favorite trades. Now, you can see here how it is moving up. See, we're in a declining situation here. See, we have a high, lower high, and now we're popping above that decline, and now we're going to be heading right on up here. A lot of the reason being is right now the EV market is taking off because remember the subsidies are going to end at the end of September here versus they were originally supposed to go all the way through 2032. So I think a lot of people are going to get in there. They want to get that $7,500 credit, which is, you know, nice. If you're buying a car, that's $7,500 off. So I think Tesla is the play. Now, when you look at Ford, you look at GM, man, these are just dogs. The guy from Ford, Farley, he was just on CNBC. And they're going to spend in a couple more $1 billion on electric vehicles. Nobody's buying them now from Ford. So why would you go there and buy more, okay? Right now, Tesla has 43% of the market. GM and Ford each have 7.4%, which is really nothing. Just like Rivian, it's just a dog stock. So stick with the Tesla. At least now you can see here where you're going to be some kind of an upswing if we can hold this key level, this 338 level. Okay, so we got above that. That's going to be very, very key. Now, again, we want to go to the next level, which is going to be right up here at the top of that candle, 357.54. That's going to be your next target. Now we get above that, and then we'll come up right to the top of that candle. You're looking at 367.71. That is your next target. Now I took a long this morning. I didn't get in on the bottom. The bottom got all the way down to 334.15. I'm in at 336, but you're sitting at 344 now. Okay, so what I'm looking for is maybe possibly get my 8 to 10 points is what I'm looking to get out of this. I don't hold this. I'm just trading this daily, and it's been working out very, very nice. So all we do is take these price channels. Your next target, I say, is 357.54, and your next level on top of that is 367.71 level, which lines up very, very nice with the top of that candle at 367.34 level. Then we can do it if it keeps right on running. Look how many nice targets you got. 380 level. Then we have this gap all the way up here at 394. Then you watch the bottom of that candle at that 401.34. Okay, your gap, your fill. Then we can go to the top. You're looking at 412. And then we come up there, you're looking at 419.99, and then we just keep right on working up 439. And what we got there, you got 465, and you can work yourself up to 488. Now, that all depends. It's got to hang and hold on to this 338 level on a closing basis. That is going to be very, very key. But right now, we had that decline, and now we can break that decline, and now we can just head to, onto the upside situation. Okay, so on the downside, obviously, just watch that 338 level. Then we can look at today's low, looking at 334.15. Then when we start running into these simple moving averages, you got 324 level, we got 320, and then we have your 8-day sitting right there at that 318 level. But right now, this is looking very, very bullish because your price is above all your simple moving averages. Your RSI is only sitting at fixed 62. That's got plenty of room to go to the upside. And we have a sideways action. But we're sitting in the middle. You have a lot of room to grow, just like we had here, okay? But again, just be a little bit, to me, I'm just as a trader kind of a situation. Eventually, once all these, EVs are purchased, then what are you going to do, okay? So that's the key. Now, they have a lot of good stuff on the board. They got the robots going. They got the self-driving. They got this and they got that. Yeah, that all sounds good. But again, sometimes he gets a little ahead of himself, and stuff doesn't really come out like what they say it's going to come out like, okay? So always remember, easy way to trade this, TSLA for the long, TSLS for the old short ski. Okay, let's take a look here now at Microsoft. Okay, here we have Microsoft, and you can see how strong. Look at this, all this situation. You're almost like an overbought situation, but you can see how nice it's just progressing up higher. And look, it's been holding this 8-day. Look at how beautiful that is. And then if it's lost, where did it come? Right down to the catch-all, the 21-day. Okay, so right now what we're really watching on the upside is we're watching that 8-day at 526 level. Okay, now if we can get above that, then what we're going to be doing is we're looking at that 531 level, and then we come up here to the top of this candle, and we're looking for that 535, and then we have 538, and then we have your big retest up there at triple nickel, 45. Okay, so that's what we're going to be looking for if it can roll to the upside. Now, on a downside, it has to hold this 21-day. That's going to be very, very crucial. If not, we can look at the bottom of that candle. You're looking at that 509 level, and we come down to the bottom there at 500, and then we have your price channel at a 500 flat, which is basically the bottom of that candle, and then we have that 497, which is your 50 SMA. Now, down the road, if this does get hammered, always, always, always watch this gap. Okay, see where you have the gap? Not today, not tomorrow, but eventually, okay, 424.90, there's your gap, and then look to the top of that candle at 396.66. Gap and fill, okay, gap and fill. That's it. That's only if you lose all these simple moving averages. These will be your targets. Like I say, not today, but again, you can see on the earnings where it popped up and then it just ran. Okay, now here was the last earnings, had a nice good high, and then she came right on off. But again, let's just see how this all shakes out. So realistically, just watch that 8-day. If you can get back above that 8-day, then we've got a good chance at retesting this level here. This is going to be a very, very crucial level. That's that 537, 538 level. Once you get above that, then you can test that 555. You crack that, you're going to go to that 600 area, okay? Now, bottom line, just hold this key 21-day. That's going to be very, very crucial. If not, you got the 500, and then we have that 497 level. Okay, let's take a look here now at Meta. Here we have Meta. Okay, one of my favorite trades. Now, you can see how we just had that re-earnings, and it just gapped, boom, right on up. Now we have this sideways kind of an action. So what we're watching on the downside is just watch that 8-day, 767. That's going to be very, very key. If that's lost, we'll come to the bottom, 758. And then here's your gap, okay, 745.31. And then we look to the top of this candle at 708. Okay, gap and fill, but you have to lose the 21-day and pretty close to that 50 simple moving average. But right now we just have a sideways consolidation, and we're holding that 8-day, which is always very, very good. Now on the upside, we're watching this 775 level, and then we'll come up there at 783, and then we'll be looking for that 784.75 breakout. Again, you bust above that, you're going to go to that 800 mark very, very easy, and then you can venture right on up. But again, we got to see how this all shakes out, because this has had a massive, massive run kind of a situation. But I never like these gaps and these fills because that just never, you know, if it does get hammered, it might have nothing to do with the stock. It could be the overall market. You're going to do, and you're going to fill these gaps, okay? Now, there's a lot of other gaps all the way down here. So you can see the bottom of that candle, 621.03, there's your gap. And then we have 606.97, there's your fill. Another one all the way down here, 570. And then we have, on top of that is 549, gap and fill. Then we have another one down here, 516. And then there's your fill at 506. So there's a lot on here in case this hammer gets hammered. But again, we're coming into that period, that 6-week period, end of August, September, October period. So just be ready, put stops in place. We can always buy it down cheaper. Now, again, if we close above that 570.84 level, well, then I jump right back in it, and then I'll take that to that 800 level, possibly higher. But again, we got to see how this all going to shake out, kind of a situation. Okay, so right now we have this negative divergence going here. See where we have this high, made a higher high, but we made a lower high here. Okay, see this? Negative divergence going on. So just be very, very careful. Watch that 8-day, and then we come right down. We have that 21-day, and then we can come down to that at 50-day, and then we have that retest at 691, and then we also have that 100-day, and we have that 200-day besides all these gaps and this fills. Okay, now let's take a look here now at NVIDIA. Here we have NVIDIA. Now remember, the earnings are coming out here on the 27th. Okay, so this hasn't even done anything there. Now the high on this was 183.88. We got as high as 183.83 today. All right, so we have to close above this 183.88. Then obviously you'll work your way to 185, 190, and just like when we're down here, I think it said you can eventually work yourself up to the 200-day. Now I am long the stock, and I also trade this stock. Okay, that's the key. So what I did here is I sold out on Friday. It was a really nice trade, and I bought back in today at actually 181 is what I'm in, and it's sitting at 183.35. Okay, so that's what we're looking for, is how you trade it. But I also am very, very long. I've been long the stock. It's just, I think it's going to go much higher. I think you can hit that 200. I think you can go to 250 eventually on this stock. Now, what we're watching on the downside is 179.52. If not, we'll come right down to that 21-day. Look how nice it caught it. Okay, 175.03. Then we come to the bottom of this candle. You're looking at 170.89. We come to the bottom there. You're looking at 164.58. Then we have 162, and then we have that 160.09, which is your 50 SMA. Now, this is a very, very nice uptrending chart situation. We're getting a negative divergence. See how we had this high, then we have a lower high, we have a high, and we have a higher high. So just be a little bit careful. And this is the same way. This is why I all trade this as this is going on up. I have a long position, but again, I trade this because it's a really good trader as long as we're holding that 8-day and as long as we're holding that 21 SMA. Okay, so that's what we're going to be looking for. But again, just pay attention to the RSI. This here, the green, you can see where it's dropping on down. But we have a nice, good uptrending chart. And I think we're probably eventually going to hit this 200 mark before we hit on the 27th. It looks like it just wants to go and push towards that 200. A lot of people love it. A lot of people with the old FOMO, they missed out when it was all the way down here. And now they want to get in when it's all the way up here. So on the upside, watch that breakout, 183.88. A close above that, you're going to head right towards that 185, 190, and you're going to go for that 200 mark. Okay, let's take a look here now at Apple. Okay, now Apple, a lot of people took a little bit of profit this morning. Okay, I'm long this stock, basically because now I think the T-Man and Cook, they're all jammed up together. So, you know, it is what it is. So on the downside, really what you're watching is this 200 level at that 221.06. That's going to be very, very key. Then we'll come down to the bottom of this candle. Here is a 216.58, and then we look at the top of that is 215. 34. Okay, 215. What am I looking at there? Yeah, right there, 215.38. So you have your gap and your fill, and then we have your 8-day, we have your 21-day, and then we have your 100 SMA, your 50-day at that 207, and then we have your 206 level. Well, right now this is pretty much in play, but we're getting to that overbought condition. So let's just see how this all shakes out. Now, on the upside, we had this high of 231. Level, which was very, very nice. And now this gap right here is filled. Okay, very, very nice. So if we can get above that 231, this could go, your next level is going to be right up there. You're looking at 236. And then we can come up to your 241 level. We have 244. And then we have a nice big retest there of that 250 flat. Obviously, you can just work yourself up, look to the left. That is your big target, is going to be your 260 here over time. But let's just see how this all shakes out. This is not one of my favorite traders. I just take the long. I own this as a long position. Yes, because I believe in the company. It's just like, it's a big Titanic. But right now, you know, but it was a good trader. We held this low. We got to almost an a sold condition. And then it just rallied right on up. But once you got with the T-Man and they kind of work things out, then you can see where that stock went higher. But right now, I don't have a trading position. I think there's better stuff out there. I like the NVDA. TQQ is a nice basket of everything. I think Meta, Microsoft, and next we're going to take a look at Google. But really the best trader out of the bunch is going to be Tesla. Especially right now, when you're going into that end of September, a lot of people are going to be wanting to get into those EV cars. And I think that's the best of the whole thing. So bottom line, just watch this 200-day on a closing basis. If we lose that, we can come down to the gap, the fill, the 8-day situation, and all this key support all the way down in the 207 to 213 level. Now on the upside, we just want to watch the top of that candle at that 231 flat. If we can get above that, we just follow the candles up, and maybe we even hit that high of that 250 level. Okay, let's take a look here now at Google. Here we have Google. Alrighty. Now you can see here how a nice, good uptrending chart this is. See, it comes right on up. Then a little consolidation, up again, consolidation, up again, consolidation, up again. All right. So what we're looking for is you're looking at the high of that is that 202.61. So you can see it's just jonesing this level here at that 207.05. That's what it's really looking for. You can see where it wants to basically retest it. 207.05. That's going to be the yearly high. That's what we're going to be looking at. Now, if we can crack that, then you're going to start rallying up like the rest of these, like the Meta, the Microsoft, and you know the Apples and everything. You're going to take this to that 225 level, then push it towards 250. I think Google's really getting their act together with the whole situation, and I think this is really going to be a good buy. Now, the key is a close above this 207.05. You can buy on strength. Once you do that, this is going to go much higher. My target would be that 225 and head for that 250 level there over time. Now, we can see we got to like an overbought condition, came right on down. Now we have this negative divergence. So you have a high, lower high, high, higher high. So just be a little bit careful kind of a situation. Now on the downside, what you're watching is the top of that candle at 197.95. And then we're going to be watching this 8-day at 195.73 level. And then we have that 191.57 level. And then all we do is we just follow these candles all the way down 184.22. We have your 50-day at 181. And then we have that 181.11 kind of a situation. Okay, so as this is going up, this will become very, very big support levels. So always look to the left of the chart. Wherever it comes up and it consolidates, top of that candle is going to be your support levels going on the way down. Right? Very, very easy. But right now, just watch that 8-day, that 21-day on the downside, because you can see when it lost that 8-day, came down, but it held that 21-day. Now we're looking up. On the upside, we're looking at that 202.61. But realistically, this is what we're looking for, is that 207.05. We crack above it, jump in, because you will, as long as it closes above it, that's going to take this much higher all the way to that 225, maybe 250 level. Now, we look here at the MACD. You're up at the top situation. These are like overbought conditions. But again, this could last just a little bit longer. But any kind of a pullback, I think Google is a good buying opportunity. Okay, that's what I got for you. I'll be back here after your pick close. We'll take a look at Bitcoin, gold, silver, crude oil, natural gas, and we'll take a look at the indexes, which are up today, but overall pretty kind of flat. Trade what's in front of you, not what you want.